So bonjour.
Oh, hi.
Bonjour.
Oi.
Yo.
We started already. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I was dying of sick idiot belly disease. So Adrian gets it.
Well, you are an idiot.
Death
Don't
by
cry.
poopy butthole.
Yeah, I understand.
The hero's way out.
Honestly, so true.
I started recording as soon as Beans got here.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Well, have chips open and ready for later. Okay. Well, hi, gang. Hopefully, how you'll all been good. It's been a while. Been a long time setting up too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Wee.
New season. What am I doing here?
We made it.
Yes. We made it. Yes.
Looks like we made it.
Gotta find what I want here.
And we're all turning on webcams, right?
No.
God, I hope not.
And here we go. Okay, just need to get all my tabs and ducks in a row. We all ready to get started?
Hell yeah, dude.
No.
Something of the sort.
All right. That will get us kicked off.
Bucket, I swear to God.
Years have passed.
Go. Go to your place.
Lands have changed. Cities
Go to your
have
place.
grown as Omonth is explored. New faces have been seen, bonds have been forged, and names passed down the generations. Our story does not begin on the continent declared as Terra Monstorum, land of monsters. We begin at a small island just north of the coast, where whispers stir as a tall tower sits upon the mountain.
Oh, motherfucker.
There, standing against the torrent of time, unmoving and unfeeling, gazing out at the colors beneath while stood in monochromatic solitude. A vigil watcher from a past far gone, where magic began to build, just like it has again. And as the sun rises, the first rays of light bending across to strike its surface, runes begin to glow. An unknown sigh escapes hollowly from within, and the tower makes its call once again. Open the gate. But now we whisk ourselves away across tall mountains, icy tundra fields, and through golden dunes of sand. Down far southwest on the coast, a place where life is a hustle and bustle, except for this morning. There is a quiet to this morning, a stillness due to recent event. Whaletooth, the city of gold, a merchant's paradise and place of grand community. Wandering through the last morning mists which cling to its sandstone street, until we reach a solemn place where the light has yet to reach.
Yay, a trope.
Down into the earth, through halls of carved and set masonry, sputters and flicker little torchlights and other magical lanterns. The sunlight only slowly beginning to peek through the low-set bars near the ceiling of the cells. Here is a place where trouble winds up, where those who bear ill will against the city stay to rot, and where the unruly are held until answers are pulled from them, willingly or no. A soft click taps down the stones, and a gentle and melodic ringing down the bars of the cells as a guard makes their way down the line. The dwarven jailer, adorned in her dusty chain-mail armor, stares across with piercing green eyes that seem to glint of their own volition. A low, gurgling rumble preludes her speech, the pale crocodile hissing as it observes its master's charge. A hush to follow. All right, you, there. Stand up and get close so I can see you. And this is where I am asking for a d20 roll between Beans, Travis, and Adrian.
Oh boy.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
What did I do? What did I do?
What did you do? I guess we will see in just a moment. I make sure where we're going. Correct. Okay. Where are we going? Past where a light beats down upon rolling gold, we look towards the rocking blue waves of the coast. Clouds overhead, coasting by as the expanse stretches out to the horizon. A gentle shift and spray of salt in the air, giving the full experience as the ship continues onwards. Its deck creaks underfoot, the shuffling of feet above and below. A what would seem to be calm stretch oddly marked with tension. Whatever the captain may know is left unsaid. But what we see among the vast azure sea and sky is a shock of red. Adrian, could you please introduce your character on this boat set a sail in the oceans
Oh.
some days ago?
So we're on a boat. All right. Rowan is probably up on the deck, leaned against the railing, kind of looking out towards their destination. Rowan stands at a whopping 5 foot. Fuck all. They've got a cloak on. It looks like it's been dyed and refashioned to kind of fit them. Cloak, she's wearing it overhead. On the outside, she looks a bit standoffish in her expression, her demeanor, especially with her hood up. She's like, it's an obvious sign of don't talk to me. But underneath, you can kind of make out piercing blue eyes looking out into the horizon. Under her right eye, she's got a bit of a burn. She's lightly leather clad, with a bow and a staff sheath on her back. She's got different vials hanging from her belt, including a bottomless stein, and this, it looks like a thorn, I guess, with writing on it. Yeah. She's just kind of vibing.
Alright. Is there anything Rowan would be doing or perceiving, or some other situation where this tense air is just quiet as things seem to be happening on the ship.
Can
But
I
the
like? Can
Mhm.
does she perceive that it's more tense than usual? Like, is the vibe off, or
You can give me a perception check.
what's the vibe like? I can't roll anything. Oh, here we go.
Roll for vibes.
Rolling for vibes. Ooh, okay.
From what you can tell, especially by the movement and what was the once jovial Othamaru captain at the wheel, something does seem to be a bit off, especially when you do know that Captain does have a giant eel that is usually near the ship, but it seems to be missing at this point.
So I noticed this.
You do notice this.
I think
But you notice it that it is just because it is much deeper in the water than what it was.
I guess upon taking notice of the shift in vibes, she pulls off the hood of her cloak, revealing short, red, striking red hair. You can probably spot her in a group. That's how it stands out. And
Main character in an anime syndrome.
yeah, pretty much. She gives the deck a look around, looking for the captain.
Captain would be sort of up near the wheel, and the Althamaru captain sort of stands sort of fairly stout. Their scales sort of a orange sort of pink as they are sort of looking out very carefully with squinting eyes and chewing on the end of the pipe that is in their mouth. You know this captain as you have become acquainted with them as sort of part of your duty on the way back. This is Captain Monroe.
Okay. Rowan kind of shifts and makes her way towards the captain. And how tall is said captain?
Let's see. He is probably sporting nearly 6'2", I would say. Big fish man.
So Rowan makes her way to the captain and kind of stands behind them. I feel like he'd probably sense her presence without her making a noise.
Well, he would definitely see her start walking up
Towards, yeah.
to the aft castle, where the ship's wheel is.
She sort of stands behind them and, Captain. To get their
Yes,
attention.
Rowan.
Have you noticed, there's a bit of a change in the air?
Yes. Frenchie's gone down a bit deeper, seeing what's might be going on, and I don't like it, especially around these waters. Usually it's a bit better.
How far off are we from Whale Tooth?
We're still probably a day or two off. These are Mur waters usually, but something along's not quite right.
I sense that as well. Should I tell the deckhands to be on alert?
I'd say you go rouse your companion, probably stop him from making my crew lose too many pieces from their pockets. Y'all were hired for a reason, and there might be reason coming up soon enough.
Right. Right away.
And you would go grab your companion, rousing them from what riveting bit of gambling was going on below deck for those who were technically off duty and simply rolling dice and playing cards in order to ease their nerves. But when pulled back to the forward ship, there'd be a spray of water and a high-pitched squeal as the giant eel breaks near the ship, and the captain looking over, almost listening and understanding what is being said. Well, Rowan, looks like we do have company. Good one, though, but from what I can hear, it's a bit tense. And just a couple moments later, there are two other shapes. Two dark shapes getting close to the surface. You could give me another perception check, if you would like.
Sure. Ew. Ew.
You're not able to tell too much aside from about the relative sizes of what's coming up. What looks to be something quite huge in size, along with something probably only about the size of a person, until eventually it does break, and there is a more than large orca
Oh.
making its little sort of breaching song and cry as there is what looks to be like a human? No, as soon as they start getting a little bit closer, you see some glint of scale that starts around the waist and disappearing off into the water, into a singular dolphin-like fin.
You're telling me my height's working against me? I'm gonna have to tippy toe over the railing just to see what's going on. That's what
Sal,
Rowan does.
Yeah, the figure does call out to the captain and sort of gives you a nod in recognition to you and your companion. Sal, we're having a little bit of a trouble. I don't know if you had heard the recent tale, but the big fella is swimming around a little bit closer to the coast these days. It's probably looking for a spawning spot or maybe even something more vital for its food, but it's really kicked up the activity with the Grindylows. You know how much they hate that squid. And there's a pause from the captain and looks over. You know what a Grindylow is?
No. Can't say I do.
Give me a occultism check.
Or do I? Probably not. Probably no, definitely not.
You're not quite familiar with what a Grindylow could be. Even though you are relatively well read, it seems to be that it's something a bit more esoteric. Well, a Grindylow. You already know goblins.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now imagine feral goblins
Hmm.
and make their legs an octopus.
Tries to hide the look of disgust.
They
Sounds pleasant.
absolutely hate squids.
Hmm.
And when they get sight or smell of one, they kick up a fuss all over the place as they try to establish a territory out so that the squid won't get anywhere near their home. They're a bit savage about it. No real talking with him about it. Because once they seize any new territory, they will not give it back, even if it belonged to someone else at first.
Hmm.
And I'll say that I do owe these folk a good bit of favor.
Right.
They are more than helpful as guides out in deeper oceans. And I'm sure that they will be quite thankful if you were to lend their aid. Of course, I'll add a little extra to your reward under the table if you do help out.
Say less. Nay bother.
Then you can just call me Captain Sal, and we'll call it even.
All right, Captain Sal.
Miria, I got you two folks who are quite ready to go into a Grindylow den. Quite good adventurers, too, if their tags mean anything. And there will be a spray from the orca, and almost a sort of laughing whistle as it sort of gets a little bit closer and makes a firm nudge to press itself against the side of the boat. And the Zetusan merfolk, who name is Miria, will sort of reach over, sort of pull herself up onto the back of the orca and sort of lend a hand down to act as a way to, encourage you to hop down.
Rowan needs no encouragement. She straight up just like jumps from the boat onto the orca. Almost a look
And
of
likely
like
with-
super excitement on her face.
And likely with your companion in tow.
Yes, companion in tow.
More than eager to encounter something like that.
Well, once Rowan takes her seat, she grabs the merfolk's hand and shakes it. Rowan.
Miria, but you're not going to be on top of here.
Oh.
And she gives like a bit of a whistle, and then there is like a sort of a yawn, low whistle. You're going to have to ride inside for a little while.
Come again.
In the mouth.
Oh. Wow.
Don't worry, the blowhole is there to be able to help circulate, so you'll have air while we go down. It just gets a bit deep, and you don't look like the sort to have gills.
No, it's not something I have or I'm trained on. So, yeah, let's go.
And then, with a splash as high as when they had arrived, a pair of folks, an orca and merfolk, dive down below to take care of what needed to be next.
Sea goblins.
Grindylows. Yes.
Sea gobs.
Sea gobs. Sea gobs.
My cousin.
Imagine getting Jonah and the whale on session 1.
Mhm.
It couldn't be me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, roll a new character.
Dark, open, chilled. The swamp holds no feelings of good or ill to those who stay in it. Only what nature intends to show, or press upon those who keep within its bounds, would be the gifts or punishments delivered. It is a time when things are chosen to change, and events seen rarely by only a lucky few, though only if they choose to bear the burden of the trek out to these waters, whose denizens are as unfeeling as their home. Here, though, is one full of feeling as moonlight glints an equally pale form. Travis, could you introduce your character in their situation that had been a few days ago?
Yeah, so Thessalian is a pretty tall elf, tall as in 6'5". He has longish, pure like pale white hair down past the shoulders, and his typical elf pointed ears. He looks young for an elf, which means he's significantly older than your average human would be. And he is in very long and flowing, like beige and white and almost gold robes. that he has somehow managed to keep fairly clean in this swamp that is most would not really love to be in or find particularly beautiful. But he's kind of just sitting in like a dry peat spot. He has a little notebook and his pen out, and he's just kind of looking around and taking it all in. Very clearly at peace.
Is there anything in particular that Phathalion is looking out for, putting together, or thinking on while in this moment of peace?
So the main reason he came out here is there's an event that happens in these swamps, a natural thing of like these lights that are known to kind of come, that are apparently very beautiful, but not much is known about them because not many people are, one, willing, or two, capable of not getting killed in the swamps to see them. So he came out here to see them for himself. His notebook is the primary reason he's out here. He is here to not like study them on a scientific level, just purely to see them and take in the nature, and not just of the interesting phenomenon, but of the swamp as a whole. And honestly, like when it comes to observing nature and observing life within it, or really observing anything, like there's this interesting phenomena. He is equally as interested in the millipede that is crawling around, a rock nearby, or frogs croaking, as he is this rare phenomena. He regards them really no differently from each other. And he's, his notebook, he's writing some things. He's doing some little sketches, but also focusing on writing his poems.
All right. Well, depending upon where you're focusing most at, we could have a performance roll for the writing of the poems, a nature roll for trying to pick up the natural signs of where the event might be, or a perception check to just look, listen, and take in the vibes of this bog.
I think we're gonna do perception.
Perception it is. With a 15. This area does seem to be a bit more quiet than the others, especially with this around sort of start of autumn. Uh, you're starting to see a bit more mist as the change from hotter temperatures to cooler sort of change the chemistry of the bog itself. And every now and then you do see a little glint of something, but it's not quite what you're looking for. And then, maybe a little bit off in the distance, you see a little bit of light, persistent, moving. Could I have a perception check, occultism check, or nature check?
I think we do nature on this one. That's better.
A little better, yes. As you are sort of waiting and watching, it looks like you were just only the smallest bit off the mark from being very close to what was the event, but you're still able to get a good grasp of it from this dry point here. As you are sort of having a look at this curious occurrence, there are a few more lights that seem to pop up, and as they move and bob, depending upon their speed forward while they rise and fall, and proximity with other lights, their colors seem to shift. And you are thankful that these are more natural phenomena, as there is other things that are relatively close to this that are not quite as benign. This event could, or at least those wanting to find this event, creatures known as a will-o'-the-wisp could ensnare those trying to find this event by behaving similar, but the way you have found yourself, there is no lingering death in this area, and thus you are able to witness what you have been looking for. How well you might take it down, could I get a performance check?
Hell yeah, dude.
Definitely quite the inspiring experience, and you feel it is a fairly decent work. And however long you stay here is however long it'll be to observe the lights in the pale, dark swamp.
He generally is just gonna sit there and take his notes. Probably until the lights stop, which I assume is beginning toward sunrise.
It's probably a little bit closer to maybe not quite sunrise. It's still maybe a few hours before, or when they start to actually get towards some of the more open water. When they descend a little bit too close, it seems their composition does fade a little and they peter out.
So is it just wisps in the
It's
water?
it's a form of wisp.
Hmm.
Is a curious, shifting form of wisp. Though, once the observation is done, we move elsewhere. Far out among the dunes, the sun shines bright overhead. Pointing up from the ground like broken teeth are crags of rock, creating pockets of shade in this stretch of usually unforgivable landscape. However, we also find a little bit of curious green stuck between those jagged stony fangs. Pocket of life where water flows like lifeblood beneath the surface to bring a respite to the weary. An isolated oasis where a pair of fuzzy ears pop up. Beans, could you introduce your character?
Okay, hello. My name is Tandor. I am a adorable. How tall am I? Like 7?
7 foot.
Yeah,
Like 7 foot.
Adorable
So,
giant.
I'm an adorable 7-foot tall gnoll. I am standing there in sort of like desert clothes. It's like lots of tans and yellows and greens and lots of. It's very breezy and nice and comfortable. And I have a bentwood stick in my hand, and I have a little cauldron follow me around. Just hangs out. You know, it's like not that big of a deal or nothing. Like you don't have a cauldron following you. Anyway, Tandor uses they them pronouns, by the way, keep that in mind. And you know, I got like little trinkets and stuff hanging on me, and I got the little ladle just chilling on my hip, you know. My fur is like a nice beige. I got spats and like a nice black snout and adorable ears. I'm so cute. And I'm just hanging out, just standing around. That's me.
Well, more than just hanging around and standing out, there is something you might be looking for.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I will be needing a perception check, uh, nature check, or desert lore.
Yeah, that's no problem. I will do a nature check. I nature so good.
And after a little bit of digging, having to go through a few different taller bits of brush, you are able to find a very small succulent tucked away only barely because you spotted the little bit of shade and slightly different shade among those weird grasses. Something orange, round, a little bit oblong, but looks to be quite ripe.
Heck
A
yeah.
fruit. Probably maybe about the size of, we can probably say it's a good half a foot long on one side. Like a tiny Nerf football.
Love it. Okay. I yell out and I say, Max, Max, I found one! Max, Max, I found one. It's over here. Help.
And your companion would go over to lend a hand however they would.
Because they're
Uh,
small. And it's just, the cactus, it's just a lot. And it's like spikes. I just don't want to get
Mhm.
involved with it or nothing.
Slightly more deft fingers are involved, eventually taking a bit of maneuvering and a quick cutting away from the succulent at your specific point, and eventually pruning off the spines from the prickly pear. It is passed to you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I've been looking for this for so long. And Tandor takes a bite out of it immediately.
Okay, give me a second.
Like a small bite for tasting, okay? Like it's not that big of a deal. It's not. I'm not like going to town on it, eating a whole Nerf.
It's not a big chomp.
Yeah, I'm not just sitting there and like taking the whole pie, you know?
Yes. I'm trying to remember where I found it. But it was. Let's see. I have it somewhere. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. Gotta find it. Here we go. And this is number. It is honey sweet, but after a little bit of chewing, there's a subtle spiciness that is reminiscent of a ripe persimmon. And you sort of roll that taste around in your tongue for a little while, thinking on how it could possibly be used. Could you give me a perception check or a cooking lore check?
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm doing perception since apparently my cooking lore is like real crap.
Perception. You could definitely probably see this used in sauces, jams, maybe in if you were able to clean it up a little bit with not having quite as many seeds, probably some nice little slices. Now, as sort of a fun mechanical note, even though a lore skill might be generally lower than what you might usually have, the DC for using a lore skill is lower.
Good to know.
So it is generally better to use a lore skill, because sometimes that will be anywhere between two. What is it? I think I can probably look this up. Yeah, it can anywhere but it can be anywhere between 2 to 5 less for a DC.
Perfect. Perfect.
Which more than makes up any difference.
Absolutely wonderful. So Tandor motions and just says, just go grab as many as you can find. I'm pretty sure this like whole area is like kind of full of them, so just like grab what you can, toss them my way. Thank you. Like we're going to make delicious like jams and sauces out of this. It's gonna be like fantastic.
And given the particular arrangement that was made, eventually a few more are made, just enough at least, given that this is a relatively small patch that did have some ones that were ripe. You didn't want to really pick any that weren't, out too much.
Yeah, I'm putting them into my bag with any other ingredients I've already collected, and just humming to myself and probably hearing Max complain a lot the entire time.
Of course,
Yeah, naturally.
as is how things should be. A sigh follows the shutting of the door. A dwarf entering the room where one other moves around while two sit on a table dealing cards. With the soft clop of horseshoe on metal, a centaur of chestnut coat and flaxen hair moves to take papers carried by the warden, having a look at the statements collected so far. Seems like a very interesting group, would you want me to see about the last two? With a shake of her head, the dwarf pats at the side of the pony-statured centaur as she passes. Nay, Axel, I think the best is probably to send Trip for those ones, especially since they'd be eye to eye and have some rapport, I think. You've seen one of them before, eh? The bright red-scaled kobold with corkscrew horns turns over to look over his shoulders as he addresses. Oh, that one. Yeah, we've met. More than a few times. I don't like him. That's nice because I've lost money to him. A delighted chirp echoes past the kobold as a squeal and squawk of delight comes from their card-playing companion, a hawk with a delighted expression and ruffling out her horizontally striped plumage. That's two pair, ducked and flushed to follow. You're on Scrubs next, and Lula gets to sit out and watch tonight. The kobold narrows his eyes as his poor luck on the table, hissing as shadowy smoke, smelling of burning salt, escapes his lips, cursing under his breath as he hops up, is handed the interviewing papers by the centaur, and leaves towards the cell. At least my luck ain't worse than his right now. And we're going to take ourselves a little bit of a break. Let us get a roll between Riley and Beeman. Just a d20, please and thank you.
One of them are in jail.
That's a good start. That's a great start. High five.
It's a race for the worst. I lose.
Start from the high spot, so
Barely.
that's that one, which is shift in here.
Are you pink? That's pink.
No, I have gray eyes.
Sorry.
Stones mark the edge of town, more rough and less hewn, where mortar makes the bricks stick after being baked to a smooth binding. Loose wood clacks against its delf as cloth flaps in the stinging breeze passing through the constructed canyon that is the outer edged streets. Here, a handful of shops make their trade, the first and last line of where gold may be given and taken. What could be on offer today as a pair of travelers move through with purpose, and one with much more metal on than all the nails of this alley combined? Beeman, could you introduce your character?
Icker. He's just a little guy in a wide stance. Stout. He's always moving. Got little ticks here and there. Tap his coin purse as he's walking.
Definitely a much more full coin purse after the last job. And given where you might be going next, walking doesn't seem to be the best option you'd think. Bringing you to this edge of town where you were pointed towards a decent wagon shop, and to give the name of the captain who might be able to give the sway for a better deal. And so you're at a wagon shop. What does Icar do in this particular instance?
Well, he come to do business, so he's gonna march right up. He has to look up because he's tiny, but he does meet your eye. And I feel like there's a note that I'm missing. Sorry. Hello, I'm Icar, and I come to do business.
Behind the counter, you take a moment and, well, it's curious. Could you roll me a D100 right quick? Let's see about the shopkeep. D4. Now, the burly orc eventually turns around, body scarred and marked by what looks to be lots of labor and maybe a lot of learning along the way to when it comes to carpentry. Tusks are quite prominent as they sort of lean their forearms down onto the counter and sort of lean over to get that much closer, even having a glance at the blade carried across the back. Well, good thing I'm in the business of doing business. Now, whose business is you getting up in the business for?
My own.
So a little business then.
Drop my coin purse on the counter. Little more did a little.
Deep pockets for a little business. What you want?
Wagon. 2 horses.
Who said I got horses?
Sure, you could point me in the direction.
There was, if you do happen to mention a particular captain that you were on an expedition with just a few days ago with your traveling
Yes.
companion.
And of course, I have notes on all that. But where they are, I couldn't say.
Captain Monroe, or after the helpful exchange, just Captain Sal.
Oh yeah. If I knew the whole name, I would say Captain Sal sent me your way.
Is it SAL? Captain Sal?
S-A-L for Sal, and Monroe, Monroe. Just don't put both names together, because then it becomes ha ha he hoo funny. Captain Sal sent you. Well, you're lucky that at least for him, there's been a couple. There's been a couple of trotters who've been a bit of a pain to keep fed. I could include him in the cot, but you're feeding them from then on. Also gotta get your own bags. I ain't throwing in no food, no leathers, no bit, no bridle. Just the wagon. And he sort of grabs the coin purse, sort of handles it, and having a listen to it. Alright, come run back. We'll see what model fits your budget.
And so we go.
And you're taken out the back, and you're having a look around, and you could give me a perception check as the shopkeep is sort of showing you the various models, the ups and downs between each of them. You could also give me a crafting check if you wanted to have a sort of a discerning eye to your own, to see if some carts are more up to snuff than others. You are able to find there is an advantage to your shorter height, and that is you are able to see some of the wear and tear and good construction when it comes to the suspension of some of these wagons. And sure, one of them has, like, a slightly rougher exterior. That's just you just need to give like a good sand down, maybe a fresh coat of varnish, maybe a bit of paint, but the bones are good. And your perspective from there and your knowledge of how everything works together, you feel that that particular wagon that you've come across with your eye would be a particularly smooth ride, no matter where you would sit on the wagon. And not to mention, relatively easy hitching for the horses.
Now, noticing this, I'm going to continue to let him walk me around. Not showing that I'm interested for negotiation purposes.
Of course.
But eventually I will settle on that one and make the purchase.
Yeah, if you got your hair forge characters, that would help with fan art.
I will start linking those who have already gone just right quick.
Gracias.
And what's funny is it's actually pinned in DMs, so you actually do have all the links for them.
Totally knew that.
And eventually sort of like, well, a little bit rough, but it's your pick at the end. Can't say no. Right at the top of your budget, too.
How much you say you want for it?
I'd be willing to part with it for 25 gold pieces.
You said it yourself. It looks pretty rough. I'll give you 15.
I said a little rough, not pretty rough. Nothing but a little spit and elbow grease. If you can reach it, we'll buff it up.
Well, why ain't you put the spit and elbow grease into it then? I'll give you 15.
You could give me a diplomacy check.
Oh, shit.
Normal wear and tear from being out in the sun and the sand. I'll at least drop you some sand and paper so you can do it yourself on the road. Remember, you're getting a couple horses as well. Can't be too greedy.
Square is square. Let's have them then.
Eventually, money is exchanged, and he is kind enough to pull the wagon out himself from the back lot into the streets, and then take a couple extra moments to bring the pair of horses out as well, and hitch them up.
Thank you.
Give a nod and even show you a neat little trick, as right near, just on the front side, near the near the front seat of the cart, there is a little wedge that you can pull to swing it out, and it acts as a step to get up into the cart.
I'll look it up and down, just buyer. Hop up. Throw my weapon in the back. Give the horses some feed to start. And carry on about my way.
Well, you have to get somebody else in the cart too.
Huh? Oh.
That's right.
Me? You talking about me?
I mean, it depends upon how Icar will address. You two have been traveling together.
Are you coming or what?
Yeah,
Rowan!
Yeah. Rowan's in.
Well, with what you need, you probably still need to get like a few little extra supplies here and there, but plenty of daylight still. Don't need to get out going too far or too much. Not to mention you got a cart. You'll be able to make good time and make good camp wherever you want. So what is the plan next then?
Psst. Psst, psst, psst. Tavern.
Yeah, we gotta hit the bar.
After we get goods, of course.
Yes, we get our supplies and convene at the tavern.
Well, if you're looking for a good spot for a good bite, I can recommend a place.
You're the one
Oh,
that's
yeah,
the
or-
thing. Yeah, go on.
Depends on how well you like your food and if you can handle a bit of spice on your tongue.
I can't.
Good. You'll want to go down the main road until you hit the main market square. You'll go left, go down about 3 more blocks to the buildings. You'll take a right, 2 more blocks, and right there on the corner will be the fire pit.
Yeah, thanks.
We're there. I appreciate you.
Pleasure taking your coin from you.
Rowan digs and flicks another copper coin at him for the information for the tavern.
And they'll give a nod and head back in to their shop. A clink of coin, a shake of herbs, a call to those who pass by to come by and check the wares out for sale. The open market pulls in those who are itching to find what they are looking for, and trick those without a discerning eye. The savvy make their performances in the City of Gold's most versatile background. Whatever may be desired can be found here in some form, for a price. Keen gazes move towards the next set of possible paydays, a stark contrast of shadows drawn on the ground. Though it is shorter cast shade which glints the brightest, a pair of fine sparkles on each hip. Riley, could you introduce your character, please?
Hey, boss. It's a pleasure for you to make my acquaintance. The name's Maximus. And I insist, if you're gonna shorten it, please keep it to Max. I'm about yay high, 3 foot, copper kobold. I'm as you can see, I've got my nice curved horns back here. Mama always said it was a bit of a looker. I've got a nice dark duster, leather duster, bit textured if you take a look. And I got a matching hat to boot. The sun might have damaged it a little bit, but I think I still strike a imposing figure. And I see you've been looking at my guns. And that's, not these things. Not my arms, I mean the actual guns. When I'm in the game, you see, but you don't need to know that. That's all the important bits, but I'm sure there's you'll want to know more.
And is it someone else wanting to know more, or is it you wanting to know more as you are making your way into the marketplace after your expedition from earlier? Getting some supplies, perhaps restocking, following up on maybe a lead or two. What brings Max to the market? Where are they drawn to first?
Max first and foremost is looking for a mark. In the markets, he is but another performer looking to make a buck, but he's doing it in a much less honest way, and he's just looking for someone who's easy to steal from.
Alright, I will be needing a perception check.
Now we know who's in jail.
Or do we?
It's a 28.
Each of the merchants seem to be quite savvy in their own, and you would be able to find an easy mark, but easy marks generally don't have quite the payoff. You are able to size up your opponents quite well, especially sort of with your own bit of knowledge. And you have your fair selection of what you might want to pick out. There's, various tinctures on sale, little trinkets, baubles, knickknacks on others. There seems to be one that is selling maps, cartography, little bits of tomes here and there, and of course your usual array of herbs, ointments, and other incenses. So really it is your pick of which spot to take, and knowing which might be most difficult, or get the most interesting result from.
Max is gonna look to his companion and size up what liquids and tinctures they already have in store.
What would Tandor already have on their person?
Oh, that's such a good question. It's like mainly just like different broths and stuff and like oils for like cooking. I don't have like a lot of like, various liquids that I just have in my pockets, like it's kind of gross.
Well, I'm not saying that you have a liquid in your pockets. I'm saying that you've got them at your hip.
But
Like a
why
normal.
would I have liquid in the hip? That is injury. What are you talking about? Liquid in hip?
Everyone's got liquid in their hips. Why do you think we can move them around? It's liquid,
this-
clearly.
Quit hanging noodles on my ears, okay? Like, what are you looking for?
Look, I'm not trying to take your ears off or anything.
I didn't
Like-
say you were taking my ears
You
off.
say
What are you
noodle-
looking
noodle
for?
on your ears? You want me to cut off your ears because I'm annoying you? Is that it?
You are just being a horse right now. Can you just say what you want and what you're looking for, and I can help?
This
Look,
is my
I'm just saying.
favorite version of the Odd Couple.
You see that guy over there selling his tinctures?
Yeah.
I think he'd be really, really wanting to buy some of your broth.
I mean, I could probably sell him some broth. I mean,
Yes.
I could guess that. Rocky, what kind of broth would I likely have, and would it be poisonous?
Let me see.
Considering that
Given-
we've been out in the desert for some time
Mhm,
now and
mhm.
probably made some sort of rat broth.
Not out for rats. It does depend upon how well you might have come across, say, a scorpion, a dune jaw, or maybe even, give me one moment, there is something else.
It's
That
the
has a name.
desert. I'm thinking scorpion. So just like land crustacean broth.
So you're looking at some broth from either a dune jaw, a giant scorpion, or a mirage cat.
Yeah, I'm going with scorpion. That's funny as fuck. That's what we've
We've
been
had to
making.
dispose of a few scorpions in our time.
Yeah, but you like the soup, so I don't understand.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying we just had to
Because if
do
it was
all right.
bad, you could have just told me. I could have
And I
made like
would've.
spices in it.
I mean, it could have used a little bit more,
Oh, now
salt,
you
but-
tell me. Now you say this with your whole face.
Go talk to that guy.
Okay, I go up to the cellar.
Max is gonna go around the long way. Also
Alright.
to the cellar, but not in
Yep, yep.
not in view.
Well, Riley, give me a D100. Let's see what the cellar is. $77. Okay.
Lucky sevens, baby.
Lucky sevens. What you see behind the counter is maybe only a little bit taller than you, probably only about 4 feet tall, but very, very large ears. A very sort of sandy pale fur, along with sort of a streak of cream white from just around the center of the chest down. Still in sort of some nice, open, sort of flowing robes. And a very vulpinal face. Some form of fox folk. Could you give me a society check?
I sure can.
That's a fox.
You have never seen something. Well, you probably think it's like, oh yes, given the race and things, this is probably some form of awakened fox or some other curious thing. You don't quite know exactly what kind though, so you're not exactly sure what may or may not be the best way to address things. However, the first one to address this vulpinal creature is not you. And the ears turn like satellites before the approach even occurs. And they sort of scoot over, sort of with a little bit of a squeak in their throat before, hello, how can I help you?
Hello, I hope you are healthy. Are you looking for broth?
I... mm, hmm. Arn, I knew I was forgetting something here. I need to get the name. Name.
Travis, what are you watching?
Oh, did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Oh, my bad.
called out.
Yeah, something is fox in Japanese.
Yeah, I was trying to
Mm.
figure out what it was called.
Kitsune?
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see, and we're gonna call.
I love the music so much. It's very Max Max.
It's very Max.
Well, it does depend upon. Show may or may not have interest. We'll see if show does. What sort of broth?
Oh my gosh, let me tell you. So, we were out in desert, right? And we were just looking around for some sort of, like stab pear, right? And then we got hungry looking for stab pear. And so we found pinch bug. And I crush it, the big pinch bug. We crush it, and then I take its shell and turn it into broth.
And there's just this look of confusion as just, just the weird pear, the weird bug, just the brows sort of just furrow as and one ear sort of folds half down to one side as the other one goes up. Were they hearing this right? Are they going deaf a little bit? Are they a little? It's like, what's going? And you made broth out of it?
Yes. Okay. So maybe this is problem like you don't understand. So the pinch bug with the whip and and I'm like making the motion of the tail.
And there's just
the pinch bug.
the eyes just sort of narrow, the mouth opens a little bit, just like that sort of look and just a shake of the head. Maximus definitely sees that this is a very confused look for kind of what's going on. And if anything, you are just throwing this merchant for a loop for whatever this esoteric amalgamate of words is spewing from your companion.
While the iron is hot, Max is going to look for the best opportunity to just take a tincture. He will not look at what it is.
Okay. I will be requiring 2 rolls from you. Then I first need a stealth roll.
That's a 30.
Damn.
Followed by a thievery roll.
That is a 25.
Okay. Can you also roll me a d8?
But of course. It's an 8.
Alright, you snag, from the tincture, you grab what looks to be... It was a curious tincture that somehow caught your eye because it did not glint in its glass bottle. The obsidian contents seem to take in all the light around it and reflect nothing back. Whatever this might be, there might be some particular individual who might be most interested in this blackest black tincture.
In a quick motion, he's gonna pocket into the
Mhm.
satchel.
Yep. And sort of after some more discussion back and forth, it eventually comes to it that they would not be interested in the broth, and so blankly says, uh, Show is more interested in selling than buying, if there is
I
anything
mean,
that.
it's a market. Who's not buying things? Do you want some of my stuff? He's shouting like from the other, like he's walking around as if he's just finding the store.
And there's sort of a turn of the ears and a whip of the head. And what would you have?
Oh, you know, I got this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
And
mean, I'm more interested about this broth. I just heard it. Tell me more about this broth.
and then the fox will just sort of wave you up. Then go about your broth elsewhere. Show has space needed for other customers who are coming to buy tinctures.
Okay, that's fine. If you don't want healing broth that also is kind of sharp, that's fine by you.
Let's go talk about this broth and somewhere else.
Okay, I mean, I was gonna walk with you anyway. That's fine. Like, full on just not getting that you're lying. Like, just...
He's already he's quickly scurrying. His little legs are going.
And just, like,
Yes.
talking as, like, we're walking away, so, like, the volume is fading out. Just being like,
Yep.
literally, you had broth yesterday. I don't
No,
understand.
it's I'm buying broth for the first time.
Yeah. And eventually, you would start moving down to the market way and the market square, and there is a gurgle. Now, whose stomach gurgles louder is the question.
Depends on how it's gurgling.
Yeah.
Can you give me each a fortitude saving throw,
Oh, no.
both between Maximus and Tandor?
Oh, no.
That's a 28.
Ah, it's you. You're gonna have diarrhea.
No, the gurgling of the stomach means you were not able to hold off sort of keeping yourself from feeling that hungry. It's just eventually it is around a good mealtime, isn't it?
Look.
And Maximus knows just the place that has some very sharp broth.
Look, I'm not saying that your food's bad or anything, but hear
This
me out.
sounds like you're saying it's bad.
No, I'm saying it's good. However, I think what would be really funny, real nostalgic, is we go back to a certain place, a certain tavern.
Oh, no, you mean the place where you met up with me and we, hung out and became best friends?
Yeah, that exact place. And
love that
I think
place.
I'm assuming it's been rebuilt by now.
Oh gosh, that's right. I hope it is.
They're usually pretty quick about the turnaround time on how much it's burned down.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
And
I,
I-
it just happens.
guess we will possibly see the turnaround about that. Relaxation, respite, recovery. These all come together within the sandstone and light wood architecture of the tavern. The smell of food cooking, the sound of drinks pouring, and the sensation of hospitality pervade the air. Patrons come and go through the doors, new faces and regulars going by as a little carved sign is hanging in the front window. Fire Pit Tavern, under new management. But who will come by next to partake? So, who do you feel might be at this tavern first? And how would they approach in?
I think I probably would be there first.
Hmm.
And prior to anybody else that may or may not show up. Just like at first, like sitting like at the bar near people
Mhm.
and just trying to like essentially kind of small talk people and just chit and chat and have drinks together.
All right, all right. Now who would follow next between our two other groups?
I should probably stop drawing, huh? Okay.
Imagine being an artist. Imagine.
Could not be me.
Should we roll for it?
Y'all could roll with it.
It
We'll
would
say
likely be us.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
it could be either or.
Yeah, we're too busy committing crime. I mean, selling things.
It would have been about the same time, depending upon where y'all would have come. So between Beeman and Riley, since y'all seem to be the driving forces, it's one side literally driving. Roll me a d20 each. We'll see which group happens to pop in first.
That's 10.
That is a 19. It will be Ikar and Rowan to pop into the tavern next. You are sort of greeted at the front, asked if you would be taking a seat at the bar or if you would want to take a table. There seem to be plenty open.
What are you thinking,
It is
Ikar?
just
Table or bar?
The bar would seem really high to me. I would choose a table if I'm talking.
We're both on the short end, friend.
That's true.
Let's grab a table. We'll take a
Get
table.
a table, get food.
would you like a table to yourselves, or would you like to have one of the open set tables where others may join you if they wished?
Open set's fine.
Open set is fine.
Open set. All
This
right.
guy likes to gamble. Is that all right here, by the way?
Long as you're playing with right cards, the house provides
Ah.
to ensure that things are fair.
Fair enough. Show us the way, yeah?
And they would sort of motion you over to where one of the open tables are. You're able to sort of get a nice, good table and sort of near the kitchens. Still a good reach and good view to be able to view.
And take a look around.
Mm-hmm. Definitely do have a look around. Give me a perception check, Rowan. And we might address that later. 23. Travis, how much is Phathalion trying to blend in versus just
Mhm.
being themselves, standing out, would you say?
Not at all. Especially depending on how much time has passed and how much drinking and how many friends he's made at this point.
How early did you get in?
I think he would have tried to get there, like, definitely prior to people, like, when you knew it would be mealtime for most people.
Okay, yeah, so there has probably been... You can still count the number of drinks on one hand at least, so it's been maybe about 3, but it's been over a long period of time, so there's just a nice smooth moment. But before we address that perception check roll, the other pair of group will get into the tavern with whatever argument is still occurring from there.
I'm just saying, don't walk in and be like, "Hey, I'm back, bye. I know it's just a bad idea. You don't. These are the new managers, they probably don't know you, and it's all fine."
What fly has bitten you? I wasn't gonna walk in that way.
What?
The Max just kind of like looks at them.
And eventually, sort of the one waiting at is like, would you be setting yourselves at the bar, or would you be wanting a table?
I mean, I'm hungry. I'd prefer a table if that's all right.
We
Do
can hang out at the table.
Do I get to throw another perception check for Tantor?
Not quite yet. That's why we're having what's going on here. Would you want a table to yourselves, or to take up one of the open tables?
I mean, what is weight?
The regular tables, you might be waiting about 10, 15 minutes as another finishes their meal, and there's an open table already available.
I mean, it's up to you, Max Max. You're the one with the hunger.
Yeah, I don't particularly want to wait, so let's go open.
Yep. And we'll have those two start to make their way towards the open table as we address that perception check. Not seeing the two new bodies coming through, but seeing Roan as you see some long, pale hair with an interesting little shade right at the end. It's almost as if you take a trip back into the annals of memory. It's like they hadn't changed at all. Only the tavern that you're in. It's a familiar face. One you probably didn't know you would see again. Sitting at the bar.
How does Rowan react?
How does Rowan react?
Rowan's gut reaction wants to be to throw her hood over her head and like just put her head down. But it's almost like when she catches the when she sees them, her eyes are kind of just stuck towards them, almost as if to, is that them?
And sort of in that distracted moment, there is the low grinding scoot of wood on stone as a couple of chairs are pulled out, and you were at an open table. A couple of folks have set themselves down, and I wonder if you recognize either, for those who happen to know between any of them, who would react first to seeing folk.
Max kind of just squints at Icar. Like, can't really place it, but feels like he knows them.
And what about Tandor at the very particular color, if there is a memory associated with that color?
Can I roll on it?
Yes. You can give me a... We could call it... As I look through things here. You could give me a perception check, society check, maybe even survival. If for some weird reason that the sight and scent happen to be familiar.
I think I'm gonna go with survival if we're going off of scent. Yeah. So I sniff upon the air. Like I guess I turn in the direction of you know what is brightly colored hair, I guess.
Yes.
And just like catch a whiff on the wind and just go, I think I know that woman. She smells like home. I just say that to Max, but like not really, just kind of talking to myself.
Max is far too absorbed in just very unsubtly, like squinting at this this guy.
Rowan like noticed the two for like a split second, and she pats the table and stands up. Says, "Icar, I'll be right back." Stands up, goes around the table and towards Phathalion.
Yep. Even as you stand up, you have to like go behind like the very large back of whoever has also sat down at this table with you.
Mm-hmm. Unless Rowan sees them from the front, which I feel like she would recognize.
Not quite yet, no.
Okay.
And not to mention, coat patterns have changed since then.
Okay. Then she
Gnolls don't
wouldn't
get their
recognize it.
Gnolls don't get their spots until a little bit after maturity.
Well, then I suppose then she's probably leaving more scent, trying to get through behind. Excuse me.
Mhm,
Excuse me.
mhm.
Going to get
Leave
over.
more scent, she's fine.
Yeah, but sort of in that closer proximity, it's like that memory it's there. It reminds you of something a long time ago, and you remember like it is a good memory, but you're still trying to tick back to it. But you know very strongly that that smell and that red hair, it's something.
Okay.
But like how much difference you can change, people look weird.
Yeah. I think what Tandora is gonna do is just basically follow the person with their head. So,
Mhm.
but like normally when you're looking at someone from across the bar or whatever, you try and be subtle. Zero subtlety. Just like owl turning the head, just like
Yeah.
whipping around looking behind.
Yeah, it's just like don't look, totally looking.
Yeah, 100%. Like failed, massive, crit, fucking one on like deception check. Just like
Of course.
nothing at all. It's just full on staring.
Full on staring, just like
Does Rowan notice this as
as-
she's walking away? She glances back at the table and notices.
There's no way you don't.
you probably feel the gaze. You're not quite sure, but I think there is a particular goal set ahead first.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, she'd probably like glance back at the table for a
Mhm.
moment and just notice the staring, and she'd be like, what? Huh.
Yeah, it's big knoll staring.
And with like her hand on the thorn, kind of gripping it to the point
Mhm.
where it's like slightly painful.
I'm doing the head tilt at one point.
She makes her way to Phythalion and clears her throat.
At this point, I think Phythalion have already made some friends and had some drinks together, so he'd be reciting poetry. So as you walk up, you most often live in chaos, subject to predators and weather's whims. The beaver claims his destiny himself, while men will claw for legacy and pride, and elves spend ages acting greater than, matched only by the gods and nature's wrath. Beavers alone change a river's path.
Beavers.
And Rocky, can I performance check?
You may performance check to see how well your poetry is received.
Fuck.
No, you do have a hero point.
You know what? I do have a hero point, and I'm absolutely using it for poetry. Do not bite me in the ass. Season 2 hero points. Fuck. That's 2 15s.
You seem to have like one person who is still interested in particular. It seems to be that they might be the only one who knows what a beaver is.
I think Rowan would have stopped to listen, so she would come off like super interested in the story or the poem, and is standing there patiently waiting to say hello. Or rather, if that was the end of it, she would clap.
Is Rowan the only one that's clapping, Rocky?
Rowan would be the one who's clapping. The other one who understood was just sort of nodding and thinking is, it's like, ah, yes, very deep. But only one gets you applause.
So he would look at Rowan and immediately, Rowan, it's so good to see you again.
And you? What has it been? 100 years already?
Give or take, somewhere around there.
What are you doing here?
Oh, now, I travel around and observe and write poetry, which apparently I'm not great at picking my target audience.
Ah, well. You'll have
What
other
are you
chances.
doing here?
Traveling. Like we talked
Um,
about.
Just from what we mentioned before, would he have noticed, or are you hiding your face still?
No, she's got her hood back and well, her hair kind of naturally hides the right side of her face where the burn is. But you could kind of peek it.
I was gonna say, can I notice it on a 20?
Yeah, you
Um,
totally notice it. And it
Look.
kind of like it looks almost as if like fire licked her underneath her eye, and so and that maybe it ricocheted a little bit onto her lip.
Well, I can see you've been on at least one adventure since we last met.
At least. More than. Plenty. Lots of adventuring.
Well, grab a drink. And he would kind of like motion to the bartender. He's like, what can I get you? What are you drinking now?
Oh, just an ale. Would you want to join me and my companion at our table, in which there's a few extras we've not met yet, but
And as you sort of motion over, you see that the knoll is still looking at you.
one of them is eyeing me quite particularly.
Eyeing, he's practically full facing you.
Yeah. Should I be worried?
Head tilt to the other side.
I'm wondering if I
Ears
should be worried.
satelliting.
There's an easy way to diffuse the situation. And to the bartender, he's like, I need 4 ales?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 total.
And then upon receiving them, just like look back around, lead the way.
Right. Her short ass just leads the way. Iker? I want to introduce you to an old friend of mine, Phathalion. Phathalion? Iker.
I
And
wouldn't have heard any of that.
you wouldn't have?
No, I wouldn't have heard any of that because by this point I would have noticed that Maximus had again is staring me down.
Just being met by quiet, Rowan's like, what's going on here?
And I will address him, and I'm going to ask him, is there a reason that you're looking at me like I shit in your litter box?
You know, I can't quite remember if you're one of the people that I beat in a gambling game, or you were just there. And I'm kind of judging whether or not that I should, like, run away or shake your hand. And I'm kind of, towing that line right about now.
If that's all, we got cards coming, just pull up a chair.
Well, they've already got chairs pulled up.
Yeah.
How much have you had to drink, Iker?
None.
I'll take
No.
his.
Not enough. And I place the drinks down between everybody. And I have my own glass of wine.
There's a seat over to my left if you want to take it, Phathalion. So Rowan goes to take a seat, and her eyes dart over to the gnoll who's been eyeing her.
Phathalion stays standing, just to like kind of lingering to see if some shit's about to go down.
Yeah.
Yep. And then as you sort of get sort of that bit of movement and the proximity again, the scent is a bit stronger now, and finally the memory triggers for Tandor.
Wait, hold on. Is Rowan still looking at me?
Mm-hmm.
Now Rowan will be looking at you, and now you're getting a sight of the eyes, and that's the last thing that you needed to remember.
I know you. You're the one who gifted me fire.
Wait. Eyes kind of widen a little bit. Tandor?
That did, yeah. Oh, well, you wouldn't know my name.
Oh.
Because I had a different name back then.
What was your
what?
name back then?
Oh, shit, what was my name?
Gregory.
No, it was a flower. It was, What was it? Udambara?
Let me see back
It's in the
here.
notes.
Yeah, let me call them by that.
Name.
Otherwise, Rowan's gonna say ankle biter.
That works.
Let's see.
Should I go with ankle biter or the name?
Go with ankle biter until we find the name, because it's also kind of like a dead name. So, kind
ankle,
of.
ankle biter. Is that
Yeah,
you?
it's me. Remember,
Holy
the
shit.
small ones were like fighting and yelling at words
Yeah.
at me,
Yeah.
and you came over and you said you have fire in you, and I
I-
burned this place down.
You what?
Yeah, you gave me gift of fire.
I did. Did I? Wow. Wow, you've gotten you've
yes.
gotten big.
Udambara is the
Yeah.
is the Tandor's root name.
I think Rowan's gonna go with ankle biter because that's what she called Tandor. Wow,
Yeah.
you've you're not an ankle biter anymore, are you?
No, not really. I kind of got tall and big.
Rowan kind of slides around to kind of be seated in front of Tandor. So tell me, what have you been doing? What have you? How did you burn this place down? What happened? Tell me all the things.
Time.
She looks over at the at the lizard.
This is
Oh.
this is my good best friend. This is Max Max. He was here the last time I burned this place down.
Wow, Max.
Max kind of like tips his hat.
Rowan nods. Wow. Meeting old friends here. Thalion and you, little ankle biter. Well, I can't call you little ankle biter anymore, can I?
No, my name now is Tandor.
Tandor. Well,
Yes, that is my new name.
it's nice to meet you again, Tandor.
I don't remember your name.
Rowan.
Ron! I know you. Yeah, you gave me fire. I call you lady who give me fire.
Iker, more friends. This is Tandor. Tandor, this is my companion. Iker. We're both
Hold on.
we're both in the Copper Rank adventurers. Not companion. Not like that.
Rocky. Oh, my headphones just died.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Charge your sunglasses.
Did Tandor just introduce Max as Max?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Bronze, not copper rank. Bronze.
Oh, that's what I wrote. I wrote
Yes.
copper for some reason. Bronze.
Rocky.
Yes.
Would I recognize Iker, or would Iker recognize me at this point?
I think Iker would recognize you at this point, given that full size, and now we're starting to hear the voice.
And the burning down.
And the burning down moment as well. Yep.
So I don't recognize Iker. But we get introduced.
Yes, Iker. This is Tandor and Max, who seems like you might know. And everyone, this is Fithalion, a good friend of mine. An old friend of mine. An old acquaintance.
Bethalion would raise a glass. Then a cheers, whether to fate or happenstance. A cheers to the smallness of the world, and friends old and
Cheers. She brings
Do I
her
have a
Cheers.
drink?
mug up. Yes, everybody has a drink.
Oh,
Fithalion
I was
brought-
already gone before this weird elf dude started talking. Because he raised the glass, and that's sign for drink.
Yeah, Max would have also drank
Just
at that
started
point.
chugging it like two-handed like a
Just-
toddler.
Rowan's watching like, holy shit. Just chugs back. that drink.
Bethalion loves it. He's so happy.
Yep. And soon enough, someone comes out to take food orders, extra drink orders, and bring a deck of cards. So who's playing cards in this particular point?
Oh no. Not Tandor.
I'm not
I mean,
usually one to
definitely Max.
play, but fine. I'll partake this time.
Max, Rowan. Anyone
Um,
else?
Bathalion would also abstain. He would not join.
No,
What
I'm
about-
playing.
Okay, so 3 folks playing at some point. Could I get... What am I thinking of here?
Before they get into the game, Rowan notices that she was gripping the thorn too hard and is like wiping her hand
Yep.
of blood.
I will be needing, depending upon how folks are playing, I'll be needing thievery, deception, or games lore.
Max is all about the bluff, so he'll be using deception.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Also perception if you are watching other folks's.
I'm definitely using a hero point.
I'm gonna
Uh,
perceive.
If we're watching, is even to non-players.
Yes, even to non-players if you wanted. Okay. Well, Rowan and definitely Pathalan, you are able to see the the bluffs that are going through from Maximus, and even the very particular. It's very not difficult to see that Ikar is trying to slip cards from places that shouldn't. So not so there is cheating available if folks want to call out or react to that in some fashion or form.
I don't say a damn thing.
Oh, if it's Icar, yeah, Rowan's like, she'll tap the table. Icar, you know you can't pull that on me. You can't pull a fast one on me when I'm at the table.
It fell. What?
I'm sure it did.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Can you really call out deception?
It's like because you were able to sort of understand that it was deception, that they had, either a better hand or worse hand, then you were able to make the right calls, and eventually, after a little bit, you are able to sort of get whatever like little friendly copper pieces you're outgoing, and eventually, I assume Max, in order to try to get a few more pieces out of this, is probably going to put a tincture onto the bar as collateral. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Something extra to bet over. Alright, well, can I get another set of game? Another set of checks for those who are playing cards, or for those who join in now that there is this curiously dark tincture that is on the table to possibly win.
I'm still just watching.
Mm.
28 now.
And definitely a very bit of high, yeah, so able to sort of see you were able to bluff your way through, essentially make all that you had lost back the previous round. And I assume that probably you had set the bottle off to the side just to make sure as things are being dealt out, and you are. How do you celebrate winning this hand and finally at least breaking even?
He's quite cool about it. There's no huge winnings. So he sets his card down.
Mm-hmm.
Thumbs around with his claws, taps the table. Quite cool-headed for now.
Yeah. Once you had one, and do you go to sort of reach and grab the tincture back to be a bit more closer to your side of things?
Yes.
All right. Could you please? What? Could you please give me we will say, could you please give me an acrobatics check right quick? As you grab the bottle,
There's a 28.
it slips. It doesn't fall, but you are still juggling this thing in your hands. This tincture that is flitting and bouncing between sort of these scaled hands of yours, and it is still in a juggle in the air. Does anybody else do anything regarding the bottle going up in the air? One moment.
I would try to make a snatch at it.
I will not be grabbing him for it.
Yeah,
That's
no.
Max's business, not mine.
Yay, we're all in the same room now. Eee.
I know, I'm so excited.
And I started drawing. But it's not really anything to
Roaring?
write home. Drawing, yeah.
That couldn't be me.
Drawing?
If my medicine
Drawing?
doesn't make me too groggy, I might continue to draw.
I also say
Interesting.
drawing.
Drawing.
Because I can't say drawing.
Drawing.
I have to space it out. I can't
Drawing.
say drawing.
Drawing.
It's drawing.
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 It is
That's
a
how
jar
Simon
drawing.
says it.
A random grandparent phone call.
Awful. I mean, it's great, but also, like, pick better
Right.
timing, Grandma.
Exactly. All right. So you said Icar was gonna have a crack at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Acrobatics.
Let's see. Given that it's kind of up already in the air, an acrobatics would be correct. Yes. Ah.
I can try and help.
Oh no, don't worry. Well, you go to try to grasp at it yourself, and it's not. It's even worse in your grasp with the metal gauntlets eventually taking grasp to it, and a little bit too much pressure is applied. The bottle cracks, and the tincture apparently was under pressure, as there is a black spurt of ichor
Oh.
that arcs out, and as soon as it hits sunlight, it ignites, and there is an explosion.
Oh. Pfft.
I didn't get my dinner, man.
The Fire Pit Tavern is aflame once again. Wooden beams begin to creak, the smoke rising higher even as masonry is set alight, as the curious mixture just oozes out across. Embers catch and spread uncontained, a burst of flame erupting as heat turns drink meant to lighten the soul into fuel to lighten the blaze further. Stones begin to crack, furniture blackens, and those who inside run out in a panic. A fire, a fire. Once again, the tavern is on fire. And the guards are coming, rushing inside to help folks out, trying to contain what damage that could be done, hoping the flame dies out at best or collapses in on itself at worst. Questions shoot rapidly. What happened? Who started this? Where are they?
Did we run?
And that is where we will leave ourselves off, as set in different cells. 5 cells for 5 individuals who were seen at the epicenter of the fire. Those who had told their stories to the guards of how they got there before, where they got to the tavern itself, and how everything goes down. At least from what statements they gathered from each in the retelling. There will probably be a quick head towards the magistrate sometime soon after everything is put together. But that is where we have things left the day before too much content is given. First session of season 2. Everyone's in jail.
Yay!
You all met in a tavern, you all wound up in jail, and everybody got to have some flashbacks.
I
Multiple
love it.
tropes? Haha.
Nice.